Okay, so this is the planer, and we're going to be talking about how to use it, what it's for, and how to use it safely. So just some basics. This is used to create a flat, even surface in the wood, and it's also used to reduce the thickness of wood. So if I take my ruler and I measure the thickness of my wood, so that's this measurement right here, I get 1 1/8 inch, and I check at this end, and then I also check at the other end, and they're both 1 1/8 inch. So I know that it's 1 1/8 inch thick the whole way through. Now there might be some low spots, might be some high spots, and that's what the planer takes out. So the planer takes out those high and low spots, makes them all exactly the same width the whole way through for the board. Measuring the thickness of your board before you send it through the planer is probably one of the most important steps. If you fail to do this, here's some things that can happen. The blades can break in the machine if you're taking off too much material. The machine itself can break. You can break the belts, things like that, if you're taking off too much material. And then it can also send a board flying back at you. If you're not taking off enough material, maybe it's just a waste of time, or even then you're just sending a board through and there's not any blade touching it. And honestly, the only thing that is a waste of time. There's really no big safety issues with that. Because we have to set the thickness, that means we got to set the height of this table. And to adjust the height of this table, you use this wheel down here. And then there's a ruler on this side. So you want to turn this wheel, and then this either brings it up or down. And one full turn is 1/16 of an inch. You don't want to cut off more than 1/16 of an inch. So whatever your board thickness is, it should be no less than 1/16 of an inch smaller. If it's more than that, then those safety issues can occur. So I'm going to put this down to 1 1/8 inch. Now, when I start cutting, my first pass, I do like to set it right at what I have it at. So 1 1/8 inch, my board measured at 1 1/8 inch. And the reason I just like to do that is just to double check myself, double check the machine, make sure that I'm not taking off too much. I'd rather send the board through once and not have it cut anything than send it through and be cutting off too much the first time. Another thing that you want to measure before you cut this, or before you put it through the planer, is how long your board is. So this measurement from here to there, and the shortest board you would want to cut is 20 inches. This is longer than 20 inches, so I know I'm good. And the reason that is because in here there are two rollers. So there's a roller here, and then there's the cutter head in the middle. And if the board is too short to hit that second cutter head, once it's gone through, then it's just going to be sent up into the blade, and then it can cause issues. So you definitely want to make sure that your board is long enough and that it hits both rollers and can be sent through the planer safely. You always want to have the dust collection on. So this right here is my dust collection. It goes into this galvanized pipe, and then it goes down into our dust collection. If you do not have this turned on or open, then this can get clogged, the blades can get clogged, and then it won't be cutting your board. So I am going to show you something real quick on the planer with the dust collection, and then I'll demonstrate how to send your boards through. Okay, so this right here is the pipe that I was talking about, and there's this slide right here. This slide has a hole in it, and if the hole is sticking out, that means we got to make some adjustments. The hole should be not visible. Okay, so when I slide this, I can't stick my hand through that side. So I know that the dust collection is being able to collect my sawdust through this. So if it ever looks like this and there's that hole on that side, definitely say, hey, Miss Federoff, dust collection needs opened before we start planing. Because if we don't do that, it'll get clogged and then we waste class time. So definitely want to make sure that that's open, and you'll have to double check me on that. And I am going to wear earmuffs for this machine. You should wear earmuffs as well. I have a few sets of earmuffs, and then you can also just take some paper towels, wad them up, put them in your ears. You're also more than welcome to bring your own ear protection as well. But I listen to it for a lot longer than you guys do, so I do like to have mine in. I'm just going to go ahead and pop those in. You always want to make sure that you have safety glasses on. So here are my safety glasses. I'm going to put those on. Hair's up. I'm ready to go. So I'm going to double check my measurements and make sure my table is set, and then I'm going to go ahead and run my board through. So here is one pass on the planer, and it takes that rough edge off, rough surface off, and it makes it really nice and smooth. And then this was what it looked like, and this is what it looks like now. So it just reveals the beautiful grain of the wood. Before I send this board through for a second time and do that second side, I want to raise my table and make sure that it's set to take off a 1/16 of an inch. So that's one rotation. It's right there. Now I'm going to send my board through a second time. Okay, now that I have planed both sides, once I'm just going to go ahead and measure this and then see where I'm at. And then I'm going to plane this down to 3/4 of an inch. And while I'm playing this, I am going to flip it in between each pass to get the both sides. Okay, so now that I have run this board through quite a few times, flipping it in between each pass, if I measure that, it's 3/4 of an inch or 3/4, and I'm good to go on my planer. That's the thickness that I needed. If I needed to go more, I would continue just sending them through, flipping between each pass.